So we're back with season 2 of the BXP podcast. This season we're going to introduce a lot of our clients. My guy Noah's been here for a year now.
Yeah, going on. Well, shoot, probably more than that. I ain't gonna lie.
Actually, it has longer than that. This is before we even got to Momentum.
Yeah.
Back at New Birth.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going like a year and a half now. And just introduce yourself, like your name, your background, sports background, and we'll get started.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. Hope everybody doing well. My name is Noah Richard. You know, I'm from Los Angeles, California, but raised in the A. So, West Coast boy, but Southern grown, Southern made. You know, my sports background, I played football pretty much all throughout my early years, up until my sophomore year of high school. I played basketball as well. I was pretty much a three-sport athlete: basketball, football, and track. But basketball was kind of my passion, more so than track and football. In track, I threw discus and shot put, you know, because I'm a power guy. But basketball pretty much got my love out of all three sports. And then also, you know, what was the third question?
It's just name your background. That's really it.
Okay,
Sports background.
All right. Yeah, you know, so, you know, three-sport athlete, football, basketball, track, you know, but basketball my love. So that's my little sports background. Also, if you're on PlayStation 5, hit me up. Name BoJohn46. We can get that war going on Rainbow Six Siege. Because if you don't know, video gaming is also a sport. All right.
We in inflation. I don't know where you're gonna get. We in inflation. If you have a PS4, you have a PS3. I don't know where this man getting PS5.
Hey man, hey.
Do you not know we in inflation?
I know the plug. All right, just I know.
He don't know.
I know a guy.
It's going for $800. I don't know what plug you're talking about.
I know a guy that knows a guy. All right,
and
that guy's Facebook Marketplace.
Go down the road for that. Anyway, so what got you started in terms of you wanting to train with the company?
My honest opinion is, you know, I've known Sean for a minute, and I know he's a real solid dude. You know, you've been holding it down for me as a homie and giving me good advice. So I know also he a beast on the court. So I know if he can do the things that he does in his own personal life, as well as far as maintaining his body and making sure it's right, but also improving his attributes, I know that he can help me. So I was like, you know what? It's a no-brainer. I'm not, you know, I can work out by myself. But I know if I get somebody else's perspective who knows more than I know about the human, you know, the human body, then I can get more out of it. So I was like, shoot, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and go with my boy BXB. Can't cap.
So initial thoughts on, like, I would say the first 3 months of training, and not really the physical part, because that part's, I think, like, you know, something we all get used to, showing up, working out, but the communication and dynamic of, like, just accountability from, like, just a coaching perspective, because a lot of times people are just in it for the money. They wouldn't really egg you on about, like, either not showing up on time or you're not giving your best effort. It's more like, hey man, as long as you're here, you're here. So from the accountability standpoint, like, how did that, in a sense, I guess you can say, how did that, in a sense, how to help you or show you, like, you know, the seriousness of what was going on during that time, even the early stages of when I first started?
Early on, it helped. It did help me kind of, I guess you could say, manage my time better. It did help me realize areas that I was slipping up, that I was like, damn, you know, I'm not acting my age. I'm not progressing. I'm actually regressing in how I handle business and how I conduct my own personal business, as far as time management and how much time I'm spending. And so just being held accountable from somebody who's, you know, slightly older than me, but somebody who is also on business, because this is their livelihood, you know, it forces me to go within and say, you know what, all right, man, I have to not only do this just to make sure I do right by his business, but also for myself, because this is my money and my time at the end.
It's his paying for it.
It's my money and my time at the end of the day. So, you know, I want to give 100% in it, because it's only right. Because if I don't, I'm wasting my time, your time, and my money. So, but in the beginning, it did help me a lot. And I won't lie, life happens. Folks start strong, regress, start strong and regress. But as far as now, it has really kicked in, and I ain't gonna lie, because it's I'm not trying to make the same mistakes that I had made. And punctuality is one of them. So now, I'm make sure even though I work like damn near an hour away from where I stay, I make sure I, take the necessary time to
prepare yourself to get there.
Get prepared and make sure I get there on time or before time, because, what's the saying, 5 minutes early means you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Of course.
So, I'm like, sure, hey, might as well just do the right thing, because I know at the end of the day, it's only going to be for the betterment of me in my life as I get older.
Yeah, for sure. And, we got space room. Don't be scared to project.
Yeah.
But that part, I think, of coaching, I believe, is like a lost art, is the relationship between you and the person, knowing that, like, look, all these books is on programming, that's on like lifestyle choices, stuff like that. But in the end, it doesn't matter how much I learn about programming, the specific rep scheme, set scheme, intensity level, variability of progression to get you to your goal. If you don't have the character to sustain what the program's asking you for, it don't matter.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to life, people have to understand, like, none of this stuff will get, in a sense, utilized at a high level until the character's at a high level.
Yeah.
So if you're not punctual, if you're not serious, if you're in a sense that are not trying to push you to your own potential, don't give a damn what I do.
Yeah.
All I can do is sit there and yell at you and just be like,
I'm here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Like, with kids, like, we yell at kids as coaches, a good majority. I do it sometimes too. I'm to a fault. But we do it expecting a response, and then they nod their head, and then you get the same thing. At some point, you have to figure out what button you have to push. It's not about saying I'm about to be nice or I'm about to be mean. It's what's gonna make them tick.
Yeah.
What do they really care about? And you have to emphasize that, but more importantly, tell them stop being scared to make mistakes. I believe that's everybody's issue in this world, that everybody wants to come out there and practice on being perfect. Perfect simply just means, to me, no matter how many times you do wrong, you always aim to be right.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah.
That's perfect to me. It sounds, in a sense, asinine. But to me, as long as I make the choice to correct the mistakes and I always get the right answer in the end, how am I, in a sense, flawed?
Yeah.
Because as I grow, I can't make that same mistake.
Yeah. You're practicing better habits and making sure to not make the same ones again. Which is because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's insanity.
No, you dumb as fuck.
Yeah, well, that's
you just dumb as fuck.
Yeah, that too.
You just dumb as fuck.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
But a psychological head case that needs some professional help for sure. Yeah. That's what comes with it. But to an ignorant person off the street, you just dumb as fuck.
Yeah. So it's just a complete picture. Because at the end of the day, at least in my opinion, just being a caring human being, of caring for another person's well-being, or caring just because they're another human who has a life, is a lost connection in this society of everything going virtual and everybody wearing a mask, essentially, rather than being their true honest self.
I mean, here's your mask right here.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is that I don't know. I would say midway through a pandemic, right? I believe that's when the disconnect became almost a reality. Because at first, the first 2 months, it wasn't really anything. I came from New York.
Yeah.
First 2 months, I'm just at Georgia State with all my friends kicking it. I believe it's the first week of March where Atlanta goes into COVID protocol quarantine, right?
Everybody staying high.
We didn't have no schoolwork.
No parties. Club, close down, house parties. We knocking on your door. Better not be a stripper party, because hey, we sent 12 up and running through that thing. So
yeah, it was nothing going on for a week. They extended. They actually, we had a 2-week spring break. We had a spring break the week after, but we started break early because of quarantine. So we had a 2-week spring break. Then out of nowhere, they just canceled the rest of the semester. Everything go virtual. Everything went virtual. So because they were going virtual, it went to 2 weeks and a half because the professors had to prepare for virtual. So
I know y'all was like, yeah.
I was behind the desk looking crazy. I'm like, damn, I gotta sit behind here and not finesse somebody notes.
I gotta do this work by myself.
Hey, look. hey, your man's be finessing. We're talking finesse. But nah, in reality though, man, it's like, that's when the disconnect became a reality. Because that was when I believe Georgia was like almost one of the couple of the last states to go
to fully
say we shut down.
Yeah.
Once they did it and Florida did it, and we all was that, going into the summer, it was just quarantined a little bit for some other states on lockdown, on protocols, whatever. So now you got to think about how it went from summer 2020 up until basically 2021. It kind of slowed down. TikTok blew up a lot.
Yeah, heavy.
Netflix went through the roof.
Crazy.
Peloton. Shit, I bought stocks of Peloton, and my Peloton at that time was worth from $60 a share until the end of the summer was like $120, doubled up.
Ooh.
Peloton was going crazy before like stuff calmed back down to where we at now. But it just showed you that like everything was so virtual, right? And you already know about to say, even went to the point where everybody became a historian, like, conspiracy theorists to
everybody and their mama think they know something.
Yeah, that's Kyrie. He knows something. Kyrie knows something we don't know.
Hey, man.
But that's a different time for a different day. But the point is that the disconnect started when we all were, in a sense, closed off from connecting with each other organically. Mm-hmm. So everything blew up through digital interactions, and it got to the point where it was so easy to just do this. It's like even remote work now is a big thing. Yeah. So think about how 2020, 2021, 22, we're going to the fourth year now. And this disconnect is so profitable, it's just expanding more. Yeah. So it's a real thing. It's more about people trying to be the most authentic self. And you hear people say, be yourself, be you. And now, not only that, but now since there's too much people on social media advertising something, it's a lot of fluff of what's real and what's not real.
A lot of capping going on.
Big capping.
A lot of capping.
From relationships to business, to even people talking about what
they like.
Not what they like, but like what men should be, what women should be, what this person is narcissistic, that person is bipolar. Like how none of y'all are qualified professionals in any right. Half y'all who own businesses just make courses of stuff you never really did well. You about to give me a business course on how to be a personal trainer to make six figures, and you yourself hadn't even made six figures as a personal trainer. But that's the rundown. But off that point, it's just, I believe we're at a point where the phones mean more than the actual interaction like this. But off of that, though, in terms of interaction, the conversations we have like this on a consistent basis, from training to even just off of training, how has that influenced you as a person from before you started and to where you at right now?
It changed. Well, I don't want to say it changed because I get the mindset from my father. My father is a very, I want to say skeptical, but he thinks for himself. Yeah. So he projected that onto me, especially from what he's shown me, the things that we talked about outside of sports and whatnot. So just being in the program has more or less enhanced that, because I can see the world for what it is, and what it's not. I try my best, especially in the environment that I work in, to be politically correct, just to appease people, because I know if I talk how I want to talk,
you're not having no job.
Getting called every name in the book. So it has more or less refined and matured my thought process. At the end of the day, me still gonna be me, but at the same token, I still know how to lock in and get the most out of what I'm saying, and not just look at it for the shining bright color that it is, but the whole spectrum.
Yeah, you see the black, the white, and the gray all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I believe, I believe that's what I focus on the most, is just as much as you may want to come in here and, get stronger, get faster, all that, I don't really give two fucks. If I don't change who you are, none of that will be a result.
Yeah.
Because if you're inconsistent with yourself, you're going to be inconsistent with me. Mm-hmm. If you're not true to yourself, you're not going to be true to me, not going to be true to your goals. So it's really just about changing you to where the demands of your goals require you to be a certain type of person. And we just reverse engineer from that point. You're good. So we just reverse engineer. We figure out where you are and where these goals are. Then we highlight those goals and ask, okay, what does this take of us to do? Does this require us to work a certain amount of weeks? Require us to go hone a skill? Require us to, in a sense, gain advantage of whatever it is we have to gain advantage of? Whatever that task may be, you got to be a certain type of person.
Yeah.
You can't tell me at like age, I don't know, let's just say 15. You have no experience in basketball, and you're telling me you're going to play college basketball. And like, you're tall, so we can kind of finesse it. You're 6'5", but you have no experience at 15.
Out there looking like a baby giraffe, as we call it.
Literally, a baby giraffe. Fresh out the womb.
Hey, your boy stumbling and fumbling.
And bumbling. So, to that extent, I have to develop you into an extremely disciplined person. Competitive person who's hungry and only wants to dominate. Because if you want to play college basketball at a high level, let's just say D1, at your height, you really qualify, but the athletic attributes and the mental attributes have to meet. And honestly speaking, a lot of times the physical attributes sometimes are a representation of the mental attributes.
Yeah.
If you're not that talented.
Yeah.
Let's just say, for example, who can I name right now? That's a hardworking dude, never had bounce, but in a sense, put the bounce through hard work in the gym.
Curry, he just off rip. We can say Steph Curry. Yeah, because you could just see early on, the only thing he doing is shooting. But now, hey, catch him at the All-Star game or at the gym or something, or in layup line. That boy doing self-alley-oop reverses out here in the thing. Like, dang, my boy, I know Under Armour ain't got the phone Jones on there, so I guess you in the gym.
Exactly. So it's like, people growth. Like Giannis, for example. Giannis was a Bambi, mad skinny, but he didn't come out the womb like Zion that big. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So his growth, his physical growth, is a representation of his mental capacity of how he sees himself.
Now you can't tell the man jack shit.
Now he's a tank at 7 foot.
This man, he cussing out everybody on the team. He tells Serge Ibaka, you can't cook for shit, nigga.
Basically.
I was like, dang, I saw that clip. I was like, dang, Giannis, I thought you was a nice, humble, kind soul out here. My boy got we got the All-Star, he got All-Star appearances on this book. What accolades he got?
He got a Finals MVP.
Yeah, he got a Finals MVP. Yeah, he got a ring. Yeah, so yeah, you can't tell this man nothing at all. He think he's going, well, yeah, he probably most likely is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But now, he on the top of the world. So,
but I believe he was already like that. I believe he believed himself to be like that.
Well, you have to. Every great story and in every success story that is of a great magnitude, the person it always goes back to that person saying, if I didn't believe this in myself from day one,
who would?
Yeah, who else is going to fucking believe it?
Exactly. So, for me, it's just doing that for the individual. It's making sure whatever we're trying to do, you have to change. Yeah. If you don't change who you are, I don't care what this is. Like, this is important. Like, high quality training is important. But it's kind of like what I learned from talking to one of my clients, Khalif. It's about the product and the follow through. So you have to be able to the experience and the follow through. So the experience and the follow through. To have a great product, you have to have the experience, which is, saying the presentation, what it is and stuff like that, and the follow through, the execution of what the product may be. So this right here can be, in a sense, the experience or whatever, right? This books or programming can be like the follow through, the makeup of the product. But how I interact with you, the presentation of myself, this company, that's the experience. Yeah. If the experience is high and the follow through is high, then I have high retention. But when there's like a disconnect between both of those, there's always a flip flop because people can say like, oh, well, the quality of the product is bad or the programming is bad. I don't get good results. He's a good guy, but I don't see any results. Yeah. Or I get great results, but he's an asshole. When you get the best of both worlds, nobody wants to leave. Yeah. Because why would you leave when you have a great person to talk to and interact with and the programming is efficient? Yeah. So that's really the best of both worlds. But in terms of what we do, how do you feel like we have added to your life? It can be anything from mental, emotional, physical, but how do you feel like we have added to your life over the last year and a half?
It's the mental. I'll say the physical as well, but more so the mental. It has really helped me to be able to navigate through, me maturing as a man and understanding how I have to go about my life and my thought process of the way I get through things. It has forced me to, in a sense, kick it into overdrive, I should say, because it's a long time coming. I'm an only child, so I have no real competition growing up. Someone who I compare myself to, like, yeah, I gotta be better than this man, because I ain't have nobody to compare to. So now, being in an environment that forces me to push myself and to make the right decision and do better, is that's the product of. And on the physical standpoint, I'm back ducking, baby. I feel a little light on my feet, gained a little weight over Christmas break, but hey, we still there.
We lost a lot of weight before that.
Yeah. So it's been nothing but a blessing. So I can't say I have no negative no negative input on it, because
for sure.
It's done nothing but add value to my life.
For sure. I'll just lean up a little bit so like an angle could be good. You're straight right there. In terms of like, the mental, can you like highlight us a couple of examples?
I say about, losing a job,
Mm-hmm.
And being able to navigate through that storm, not be like, oh man, I'm down in the dumps all day, but to be able to, is wake up every day, say today's a new day, today's a day for opportunity for me to land a job. Around that time I was, I just got done working for, working a security job. So, I picked up last one just as a hobby, but, in me just being strong mentally, through the lessons that I learned in the program, but also just applying those lessons to my own life. They allowed me to make something out of nothing, which was me seeing a FedEx driver on the street saying, how'd you get your job? She put me on game, gave me a number. I made the call. I was hired within less than 3 weeks. So, without me being challenged in the program, I would have just crumbled and wouldn't have taken the initiative to go out there and go get it.
Yeah.
Because I would just been stuck saying what was me. So it just made me do better for myself.
Yeah, for sure. And I believe we talked about that. We talked about during that time, and I simply said, like, it doesn't matter if the job in itself got let go. You let yourself go.
Yeah.
And I said, like, you don't ever get fired or hired for no reason. That's not how business works. If I own a company, I fucking do.
Yeah.
I own a company. I'm not gonna hire any Joe Blow off the street.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the old school thing of you represent the last name, right?
Yeah.
You have a jersey on, it's just say Bryant, right?
Yeah.
So when that guy plays, in high school and early NBA, he represented, his immediate family. Guy with Vanessa had the kids representing his own family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you represent the name on the back. Same thing that applies with business. Your last name when you apply on a resume, that's your whole family.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are an employee of my company, you put that jersey number on and you have my company name on the front and your name on the back. So I can't have you out here looking crazy with my name on the front.
Yeah.
You can hide your name.
Yeah.
But you damn sure can't hide mine because it's going to say brick by brick.
Yeah.
So you're going to make me look bad. So I have to make sure I hire somebody adequate enough for the standard that I put for the job employment. I'm going to fire you because you're not reaching that standard no more. So when it happened, I simply said, like, you did it to yourself. You can't look at nobody and be like, oh man, there's favoritism, or how that bullshit go in high school. Coaching. It's the same thing in business and in employment. Oh man, this manager don't like me. He got favorites. He don't want to put me on game, stuff like that. And it's not true. A lot of times it's just you not doing your job, and you not doing your job to the point where we don't feel like this need to keep you here.
Yeah.
So since you aren't fulfilling this need, I'm gonna just let you go and find your replacement. And I said during that time, I said, it's up to you to figure out how you're going to handle the next job. And you always like, well, I'm trying to get this job, I applied here, I applied there, but, they kind of hiring, they not hiring. And I was like, it's never about just, applying. Sometimes you just have to just talk to some people. It's about who you know. And I told you that. Yeah. I was like, are you running down on anybody? Are you talking to anybody? He was like, nah. I said, well, there's your issue. Yeah. I believe every job I gotten so far was because I either called up somebody that I knew, asked they were hiring their job, or if I applied to the job and I really wanted it, I ran down. I called the job location myself. I was like, yo, I put an application in.
Yeah.
My name is Sean Davey.
Yeah.
You should see my application right now. If you don't see it, can give me your email. I'll email it to you right now. Matter of fact, I can even text it to you from my phone. I can send it as a file with your number.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I'm going to get in the door, and turn it into a mile. Just ask them straight like, yo, like, how was my first day of training? It was okay. You could have got this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. Repeat that. And I just put it in my notes. I go home, work on it next day, get better. Oh, how was that? It was okay. Could have got better. Because I'm trying to land the job by any means possible. It's like I have a certain image in my head of what I want my life to be. And if the finances aren't there for the image to go, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
So before I lose my mind, I'm going to lose sleep. I'm going to lose meals. I'm going to do whatever it takes to go and get what the fuck I need to happen. Yeah. And we had that discussion. And then after that, you started to like legit run down. Yeah. And so when you saw that worker, you ran down. I was like, hey, y'all hiring, or like, what's the process like? Because you yourself applied, what, like more than 10 times?
Man.
Online?
I applied to
UPS, Amazon, everything, right?
Man, and Sandy Springs down to Morrow, Decatur, Amazon, FedEx, UPS.
You name it.
Hey, man, all the delivery service. Ain't heard nothing, man.
And nobody hit you back.
Man, you would have thought everybody said, yeah, everybody hiring. You can see signs outside, everybody hiring. Yeah. Man, you would have thought everybody was fully staffed and they ain't got no money to give. So it was rough, but you know, until I put that first foot forward to go out there and talk to that lady, you know what happened.
Nah, you're probably trying to figure it out right now, or just waiting.
I think that's how it is in life, because it goes back to the energy. You know, everybody want to talk about spirituality and energy and whatnot. And, you know, there's some truth behind it.
I mean, that's why quantum physics is cool. Just on a side note, quantum physics is cool because, you know, talking about like the body's electric, you know, we live in an electromagnetic field. Mm-hmm. And so obviously like polarity is real. Positive, negative polarity is real. Yeah. So when we talk about spirituality, like, you know, you can yell at a plant, the plant crumbles. You can talk love to the plant grows. It's just a real thing. Yeah. So people affirm and, you know, I'm going to do this. I affirm, but like the strongest frequency is action. Yeah. Living a physical reality.
Are you actually doing it in your own personal life, not just...
Yeah. Or just like, you know, ooh, I'm gonna post this. Ooh, I'm gonna post this quote today. Like, you know, it's cool, right? Yeah. Or even like, all right, bet I'm clocking in, and like, you know, you don't gotta nothing wrong with clocking in, but that you really clock in for yourself. Yeah. Because it go back, we said earlier, that mass. Like, I've talked to people who are great people on Instagram, right? Great people. Like, lives seem amazing on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And then you go talk to them. It's like, I hate myself. I don't like this. I'm struggling with this. I have this disorder I deal with, and I gotta take this medication. It's like, yo, nobody would not know until you meet the person. Yeah. Meet the person, right?
Kind of have you like, well, man,
have me fooled, basically.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. Sometimes people just want to see themselves in a different light, and unfortunately, they put that facade on. Yeah. But the main point is that, like, when it comes back down to it, is just this field of energy is just predicated upon, like, you know, your physical actions and your mental actions and how those two things are aligned. That's why I told you earlier on the phone, I was like, I'm at a point where I just don't doubt. And the reason why I don't doubt is because I stop allowing the thought to come to mind, and I think like, oh, what if I don't know what if. If the thought is telling me I got to make X amount this year for revenue, I'm just going to have to make it. Yeah. And I don't know what that method is, but my subconscious is smart enough, strong enough to be in tune with a frequency that is higher than me, a frequency that is this earth and also a creator, which I believe in, that like, if I just sit there and relax, it'll come to me. If we all want to talk about spirituality and stuff, which can be defined from a scientific level, it's simply a frequency. Yeah. So if you get yourself down to a certain frequency, or, you know what I'm saying, Kyrie, the world, you know what I'm saying, you higher thinking or whatever, but if you get yourself down to a certain frequency to where you understand that every single thought eventually becomes an action, why not just stop thinking about the negativity or limit it as much as possible? And that's where it is, you know what I'm saying, on a tangent, but that's where life is. Like, we have to understand that there is something bigger than us, above us, and the fiscal stress of a bill, of this, if that really affect you, I don't know how you're gonna handle trying to run a business, your finances, or even trying to gain that such revenue. Because for you to handle, let's just say $800K a year, let's just say you have a job that pays you that much. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
That's a lot of capital.
Yeah.
Capital is being gained off of what are you selling? I don't know. Could be service, could be
but what are you
product.
making? Something. Yeah.
You can't handle all that stress. You can barely pay your bill off the little job you're working. So you stress about a job that's paying you to pay your bills. How can you work a job that's so great, give you $800K? If you want a break, just go take a vacation or just clock out or put in 2 weeks. But you can't stress over little things. Yeah. You have to let those things be and focus on the big goals, the big action, which is, let me be great today. Let me be amazing today because I have to build upon this momentum for something bigger. In terms of doing something bigger, because when I first met you, you were very much like, I would say, reserved, trying to, keep to yourself and stuff like that. Yeah. And, not gonna lie, it used to frustrate me playing pickup because it's like, it just showed low energy. Yeah. Like you didn't really care, didn't want to really be there. And, sometimes it showed in the sessions, like the same character trait. And I believe I just told you one time, I was like, yo, real shit, like, if you don't give a fuck, you don't gotta come. Yeah. Like, if you want to come late, if you want to just, like, you don't gotta fucking come. I'll remain broke. I believe I said this.
Yeah, it was around the lines.
Yeah, I said I will remain broke before I tolerate this shit. Yeah. And this is when I got fired from my job. I had 2 part-times plus this. Yeah. One part-time, I said I was gonna come back, never came back. I think because like I was just caught up on just I believe I was just caught up in just a lot of BS during that time, off-camera BS. So I forgot about that job, could have came back to, and the hours were limited. My other main job, that went sour. That's like a whole different episode. Yeah. So I believe I just had you, my nephew, and Justin. And I legit said, hey man, I will hustle these t-shirts and trap off of it before I let you keep coming in here. And after that, I believe that's when I realized that I believe nobody in your circle was checking you. So in terms of like reaching bigger goals and getting to like a higher level in life, how important is it now that you have noticed from like back then to now about switching up your circle, having a great environment of people to represent where you want to go in life?
It has been I wouldn't say it's been a struggle because now it's shown me, like we talked about earlier, and in my thinking process in life, it has shown me the reality of things. Yeah. And for what they are. So it has given me a insight of not only that, at the end of the day, I got to make it happen for myself.
For sure.
Life is going to give me people to help me, as well as people to hinder, because, there are distractions in life. Gotta grow. At the end of the day, life is going to put people or going to put instances in your life that are going to help your process along the way. So with that in mind, it has allowed me to just, like you said earlier, not worry about the process as much or not doubt the process, but just go ahead and go for it. So as far as me personally, and I was talking to my homie, we should get our own little podcast going because, as you know me, I got former experience in the
podcast. Yeah. Boy, Ken. Shout out to Ken.
K-Mellows, Salem Ave. I don't know when they tape coming, but shout out to them. They do amazing work. We're going to have to go out there and check the boys out because I told them, hey, we're coming out there to the Ville soon. So if you see this kid, we're on the way. But we have, back on to Muhammad, we have to essentially make it happen because it's now or never. We get into an age to where now it's like, all right, we have so much time to make it happen
before you hit that big,
that wall. Say, all right, shit.
That big 30.
I can't do this no more.
that big 30.
3-0.
And it's a big number. It is a big number. Yeah. I mean, I turned 27 this year. But I would say it's a big number when like you can't handle reality. Yeah. And I say that because it's like if you've been fucking off everything, and now you're trying to run back. Just deal with the fact that like that 30 is fucked too.
Accept the knowledge. Accept the reality for what it is.
That your 30 is fucked too. So you might not see it till 35 or 40 and be patient with it. Yeah. Like for example, if I was doing what I was doing now, that I should have done at like 21, By 25, I'll be well off, right?
Yeah.
But let's dissect that situation a little bit. That's true in a vacuum. But once we factor in different things, such as like I've never been with a therapist before until now. I never acknowledge a lot of things that hinder me up until now.
Yeah.
I never had tremendous work ethic because I never knew how powerful being obsessed about your passion could be. I never knew a lot. It took from 19 to 25, 6 years to get to this capacity. So the problem is that we don't want to accept the growing pains of certain times in our life to say like, you know what, I messed up in this year.
Yeah.
I messed up in that year. I messed up in this year. And then we just stop there. Nah, I lost here. Where do I gain?
Yeah.
Like I made this mistake. Where do I gain? Okay, well, this happened in my childhood. This is shown in my adulthood. How do we fix that? Okay, this is a coping mechanism. How do we fix that? Because one thing that I learned from my therapist is that we all have interventions or coping mechanisms, but the intervention itself can have consequences, and consequences don't have an inherent color.
Yeah.
So it's technically speaking like a shade of gray, but based upon what the person chooses, it enhances how dark or how white that gray may be. For example, this is a gray backdrop with a little bit of blue undertone to keep the environment cool. But let's just say I turn the lights on some more, it looks kind of white.
Yeah.
I dim the shades, it gets a little bit darker. Same exact thing with consequences. So what I learned is that an intervention for stress for you could be, let's just say drinking alcohol. Immediate effect, right? Calm, cool, but the tolerance level for you get the same effect increases. Now you become dependent on it. The dependency of that intervention is more now, in a sense, disastrous for your health. But let's just say your coping mechanism is just meditating. You grow dependent on meditating, it's not going to hurt you. If anything, you grow with it in a more positive way, and it has a lot more benefits. I can't say the same for drinking. So back to the main point of coping is that now we have to replace this with that. Then we have to figure out what made this or what's the root issue of this. So we're doing all of this in a matter of looking back at what went wrong and now how to make things right. The problem is that people who reach that big 3-0 never want to make things right. Oh, I'm such a failure. I'm this, I'm that. I'm never going to be this. But you never said, all of these years are lessons, and if I learn all of these lessons, I will be where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. So that's really why the big 3-0 for a lot of people is scary, because they don't want to face reality. But the thing is, like,
they're like, dang, I finally got to take accountability for myself.
That's what it really is, just accountability, responsibility. However, if you do it, it's amazing because it unlocks freedom. Yeah. And to that same degree, it's like, let's just say for me, for example, like I want to be in a situation where I'm off my payroll, I'm doing something on the side, and my business makes all this money so I can hire more employees. Requires me to go back out into the real world and work for somebody, right? So I can be like, oh man, I gotta work. To me, it's like, no, I'm going to simply do what my mind says because I know I can do it. I'm gonna hold myself accountable for what I want to do. Holding yourself accountable is not also saying that you're wrong, but making sure that you're right about what you say you're going to do. Yeah. Like, do what's needed. So if you want to do something, hold yourself accountable to make it happen. Unfortunately, we just think accountability and responsibility is just
acknowledging it and thinking it's going to go away. Yeah, I did it wrong. It ain't gonna come back to bite me. Like, yeah, and then wonder why. Like, yeah, same females come back. Yeah, every time.
Yeah, like, yeah, I cheated on her. Yeah, I did her dirty. For sure. That's on me. And then you don't acknowledge it to the point where you change it. Yeah, accountability is not.
Instead of acknowledging for a change, you acknowledge it for a joke.
Yeah, like, that's not accountability. That's acknowledgement. And I believe we get those two things confused because, in a sense, accounting in itself means you have to, in a sense, count things up. You have to, in a sense, represent what's going on. So either, in a sense, you're going to hold yourself accountable and subtract yourself from what happened, or you're going to add to the situation. One of the two. Yeah. We just acknowledge it, and that's not holding yourself accountable. That's not even holding yourself responsible for that matter.
Yeah. Call that bullshit.
Basically.
Call that bullshit.
Basically. So, as we digress towards the end, what are things now you are looking forward to doing for yourself? And in terms of looking forward to yourself, how do you feel like, how the revamp is going right now, or what's going on with an increase in production Like right now, an increase in equipment, and even just me as a coach, going after like more certificates, humbling myself by talking to more coaches that are at a higher level than me, that have more experience on a wide variety of topics, and being exposed for my weaknesses and allowing people to poke enough holes in it to where the ship sinks and they help me rebuild it so I can be a stronger coach. How do you feel like where you're planning to go on now and where we're going? How do you feel like that correlates with your growth?
It goes hand in hand. Because like I said earlier on the point of podcasting, me and my homie, we are in the process of making sure all the heads that are at the table are, is cohesive, and making sure that we're all on the same page.
For sure.
As far as, what we're trying to do and what type of image we want to project.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if we want to at least not only just have extra money in our pockets, but also making sure we as humans or just as friends are happy and enjoying each other's time and making the best out of these years that are going by like that. Because it's 2023. I'm sure now you look back, it's like, dang, or you hear a song, it's like, dang, I remember when this thing came out, I had the streets on lock.
I mean, hold up. It's what, the 11th, tomorrow, Thursday, the 12th. I mean, I'm just saying, though, we already at the halfway point by Saturday.
Yeah, man. So, time going by fast. Hey, man, it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. I ain't gonna lie, it's scary. Bro.
Stop bitching. I mean,
hey, man, I'll be real.
You the bitch.
I call it how I see it. I guess you're gonna say the same thing, right?
Looking like a big one to me right now. I mean,
but nah.
A bit Medea-ish, but
Hey, chill out. chill out. We ain't gonna talk about the studio. We ain't gonna talk about it. But I'm serious though, man. I'm excited. To say the least, I'm excited. Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
It's going to help me. It's going to help my homies. It's going to help all of us as a collective to express ourselves and come into our full person.
Yeah.
Because you know what they say, as the male species, we don't mature until our mid-20s, and now we're in it. So now it's time to make the most out of that time. For me personally, trying to get my own little space. Trying to get my pride and joy, my 81 El Camino back there on the streets. Atlanta, we coming for you. And also trying to get out there in the fashion world, man. Mm-hmm. I would like to see somebody merge the streetwear with the alternative, because it's
alternative. Break that down.
Not the extreme. The extreme stuff.
Are we talking like gothic? Are we talking about like Hot Topic-ish alternative?
Not Hot Topic-ish, but like,
are we talking about like
a little bit of Rick Owens, a little bit of the flare jeans. I got some from a brand called Calabasas.
Bell bottoms?
Hey man, you call it what you want, man. Them things fire. All right, I think they fire. You feel me? But also,
you a grown ass man that say bell bottoms?
Hey man, say man, they got some nice jeans out there. All right, they got some nice jeans. That's all I'm gonna say. So I would like to,
motherfucker, let the goddamn. Hey dog, hold up.
He said, I thought he was gonna say skinnies or something, or some boot cuts. He's talking about flares.
Hey, hold up, boy.
I don't play.
I ain't no turn to the Ozzy brothers. So when you finna have a handkerchief tucked inside your shit now?
Hey man,
and the fedora?
I know about the fedora.
I'm just saying, dog, motherfucker, I wearing bell bottoms. Like, but flare, okay.
Yeah, flare jeans. But try to get into the graphic tee game. Try to get into the.
Are we talking like the Panic Pixel? Like the No Limit Record effect?
Nah,
you know what I'm talking about, though, the retro effect. We're not talking about that graphic tees. We're talking about like house style.
More or less, just But I'll say about really just the those the puffy you see it down here in Atlanta a little bit, but the hoodies got that has the puff letters on it. And the puffy.
Oh, you talking about the embroidered joints now?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
The puff look to it. Trying to get that style.
Basically, like the old school Gap
Yeah.
How Gap used to just have Gap and it was just fuzzy letters.
Yeah. Something like that, man. But you know, really just expressing myself more, bro. That's about it. And then on top of that, man, just get into the tech career. Like we discussed. And as far as just how it coincides with the business and the brand BXB, I know that as far as doing collabs with the merch, and doing collabs with the podcast will only help us grow in the long run, and also allow us to
pause, because you're not bringing no fucking flares over
no,
here.
No.
Okay.
Hey, man, you know I'm fresh for every occasion.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm fresh for every occasion.
We ain't wearing no mother flares. The most we gonna wear is joggers. You dig?
Hey, man.
But I'm listening.
You know, in the end, it's going to allow us to reach different masses that we wouldn't be able to reach because we're in our own lanes.
For sure. And to basically slowly, like, you know, end that off and stuff like that, because I believe we're approach to an hour, close to an hour now. We're trying to make these pods an hour and a half max now going forward.
He said, I got time. Time is money and I'm on money all the time.
Yeah, I don't get no sleep no more. I don't get no sleep no more. I don't know what sleep is. Yeah. But how have like the consistent conversations that like I have about, in a sense, not really finding your purpose, but like stop giving a fuck about certain things. Like literally like to the point where you're nonchalant, as we say it now. But it's not even nonchalant, it's like, why should I give a fuck? Like, to be quite frank, like that's how I feel about 80 to 90% of a lot of shit that goes down on a consistent basis. Like, why should I truly give a fuck? How has that, like, in a sense, helped you from being extra impulsive? Because we had that conversation yesterday. Our dad was like, yo, do you notice you have, like, a crackhead tendency? Meaning, like, once things hit the fan, you about to hit the fan with it instead of walking away from the fan? How has, like, you know, that really changed perspective? Because for me, I mean, as crazy as it may sound, my therapist legit told me one time, like, you give a damn too much about everybody else but yourself. And it took for me to realize, like, that's just an inherent thing from an environment where you care more about people pleasing others to get a result. Could be compensation, could be housing, could be whatever, but you're doing whatever it takes to get something back. As opposed to just standing on your 10 toes as a man or as a woman, as an adult, and having enough self-respect. You couldn't call it pride, but it's self-respect to say, I'm not really going to give two fucks about this. Like, if it really ain't helping me, I don't care. I got to focus on what's great for me. Like, how has those combos like really push you to actually be to where you are now, to where the point is like you being more consistent, you're following through better, and not only that, but you aren't trying to react, and when things go left, you go left with it. You keep going straight.
It slowed it down. You know, it slowed down. It slowed down my thinking in times of turmoil. Yeah, it slowed down the way I guess the way I perceive things. In those times of high frequency, I guess you could call it, or low frequency, depending on how you feel.
Shout out to all the chakra babies out there. Hey, shout out to all the chakra babies out there.
Yeah, man, you love them.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I have my fair share. I don't. But for some reason, they got a crazy aura. It is like, golly. I'm just saying they got a crazy aura, but good God, they got issues. It's like you need to get your chemistry levels fixed, not your chakras levels fixed. But hey, continue.
But no, it's allowed me to mature faster than I would if I didn't have the switch, if I didn't have the ability to change my perspective.
For sure.
Because I would say it earlier, be a dumb nigga, keep doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's what going left is. It turns to a circle.
So, you know, it's just showed me that I am my worst enemy. You know,
as most people can be.
Yeah, I'm my worst enemy.
But you can also be
your greatest friend or your greatest
ally.
Yeah, greatest ally. So it is, you know, it's just allowed me to change my mental, man. especially
Shout out to Game Momentum.
Yeah, shout out to Game. Shout out to him.
I get my business done. Then I gotta say something.
Yeah.
I gotta say something. That's home base. Shit.
Yeah.
That's
the
what
HQ at the moment.
It is HQ. Like my money is shit. It better be.
It's HQ.
That shit. It better be.
But man, it's just allowed me to grow. I've always been told that I have an old soul, but now it has more or less just refined that old soul to fit with the modern times. It's allowed me to process breakups, process failures, process constructive criticism, and process just unforeseen,
Unforeseen events.
Unforeseen events in a better manner.
So would you say that even though you have an old soul, didn't have you weren't put in their environment to enhance it, and so now you have that old soul, but now you finally have the mental, I would say, infrastructure, to finally carry it out, because it's almost like fuel for a car. If you got a car that's supposed to take in a sense unleaded, but you put in diesel and it's not going to run.
Yeah.
So let's just say your old soul's diesel. You finally got a diesel running car. Now it's fully operational. Now you feel more complete in your sense.
Yeah. On the verge of putting the pieces together to make 100% whole.
With that being said, speaking of whole, we are whole as done. This is episode. I think we at episode. This is season 2. This is definitely episode 15. I'm going to be myself and just say 15, 16, 17, or 18. and by the time it get posted, it's going to be the right one. It's within that 4 number range. But this is season 2. We're picking things back up inside the lab right now. And that is another episode of the BSC Podcast.